Hi everybody, let me know if this is working. I'll type in the chat. Hello, can you see me? Question. Try ejecting the walk core, always works. Is this working? No, I'm guessing not. Oh yeah, I am. I am working. Gosh, I can hear myself twice, that's not good. How is everybody? Welcome. Hello. Yay, tea. We're doing a special thing today. So I got my teapot out. This is so exciting. Hello, I hope you can all hear me. I'm going to be trying to be quite loud. So my friend Grace, who I worked with at Lush, she's now left, gave me this amazing teapot. It's quite special. Which has this metal, it's very Warhammer. It has like a metal teapot holder. So you do this. And then we're going to use Yorkshire tea, which is the only tea. And then, yes, that's going to be a thing today. I've just put 2 tea bags in because it's just me, as always. Then you put a little lid on, and then you put its armour shell on. Look at that. I have no idea why they've given it a little metal thingy, and it will go in the unicorn mug today. Happy Easter, everybody. What else do we need? Easter eggs and, well, I've been writing about Leonard Cohen, so we'll do that. And milk. So we'll let that brew for a bit. Tea Earl Grey hot. Come on, children. Maybe we'll do Earl Grey. I'm seeing Ian on Friday. Maybe I'll take some Earl Grey to Ian's. We're going to be talking about the latest Heresy book. We're going to be doing Honor Bound, and we're doing I can't remember. We're doing 3 Warhammer books. Everyone will be very happy. Happy Easter from New Zealand, Aries. Random thought for the day. Loyalist Fulgrim is the same person as Cavendish from One Piece. I swear they're the same guy. Haha. Tony says, hi all. Tony, red shirt Don, phaser to sun, tricorder scanning. Hello Aztec. Hi Neil. Oh, we missed you last week. Hope you're well, Ian. Neil. Hello Alex. Lovely to see you. I hope you saw my roses started budding. Should have taken engineering officer, says Neil, because of my computer problems. Lol. Mark made it on time for once. Hello, welcome Mark. Phil, have you tried turning on and off again? That's what I had to do repeatedly. Yeah. Where's Will Wheaton when you need him? Says Neil. I ask that question every day of my life. He's on a plate on my shelf, is the answer. Hello, Nige. Tony says it will take 5 minutes, Captain. The dilithium crystals are drained. Adamek Tech Priest is invoking the sacred protocol, switch it off and on again. Yes, I did all the rituals. Try ejecting the walk core. There was a race to recite the protocol. I heartily recommend TikTok's Rubos Earl Grey, delicious. David Gibb, to keep the tea hotter, maybe. Maybe, I don't know if it's a camping thing. Someone could Google it. I mean, I did Google it when I first got it and I've completely forgotten. This is definitely the best use of an alternate camera. Double Eagle, yes. Double Eagle, Deliverance Lost, and Honor Bound is what I will be chatting to Ian about on Friday. As is tradition, we have Mr. Pugh with us. Gosh, there are so many things now. So many segments to this Fighting Fantasy. We've got Mr. Pugh. We've got my Kiefer Cambois safety matches. I don't know if any of you knew this, but I've got a lot of relatives in Kenya. And I reckon I got those matches from when I was a small. I think they're ancient matches that bought back at one point, or my cousin bought back. And tonight I have been writing about Leonard Cohen today. I'm trying to catch up with some work, and this fragrance, the olive branch, is it's influenced by a lyric from a Leonard Cohen song. So I thought we could carry that theme on. Have to be particularly careful with a candle here. Ensign Pew while we do this book. Okay, so let's see how the tea's doing. That's good. Someone had a Fulgrim thought, as I've got my Fulgrim t-shirt on today. Hopefully it's a good pourer. Okay, that's not too bad. There we go. I haven't got a fancy schmancy milk jug, and I'm afraid I'm using a non-vegan milk. I need the calcium, don't ask. It's been a long weekend. I'm mostly working this long weekend, so yeah, not feeling too relaxed. But what else do we need? It's Easter, isn't it? Yay! We got some nice Easter eggs. Look at that camera work. I'm so impressed with myself. Cheers, everybody. Your kettle needs a knitted cozy. Yes, the next thing that thing needs is an additional an additional outer layer. I just need to tank it, make it like a tank. So today is TCAM. Thanks so much, everybody, for indulging TCAM. You're right, little unicorn. Who knows what's going to happen, quite frankly. That's all very lovely. Instead of a fact, unless anybody has a science fact, ow, literally nearly burnt myself on the candle. We're reading a poem a week from The Orange by Wendy Cope, who writes a beautiful... Wendy Cope is one of Britain's wittiest, best-selling and best-loved poets. And I only discovered her super recently. So today we're going to read a poem called The Orange. Good evening, Gary. Gary the librarian is here in time for our poetry reading. The Orange by Wendy Cope. At lunchtime, I bought a huge orange. The size of it made us all laugh. I peeled it and shared it with Robert and Dave. They got quarters and I had a half. And that orange, it made me so happy, as ordinary things often do. Just lately, the shopping, a walk in the park, this is peace and contentment. It's new. The rest of the day was quite easy. I did all the jobs on my list and enjoyed them and had some time over. I love you. I'm glad I exist. That's The Orange by Wendy Cope. Highly recommended. Very beautiful, and I am saving it. I'm gonna read it over weeks and weeks, so it'll probably take me as long as the Horus Heresy, but that's okay. Horus Heresy, as everyone insists. Horus Heresy, not Horus Heresy. So, welcome chat. Neil says, I looked up celeb birthdays, and it seems there are only TikTok stars today, which at my age is an anachronism. TikTok for me is from the Wizard of Oz books. Let's see what we've got. Celeb birthdays. Oh my gosh, you're right. It's a bunch of TikTokers. Tomorrow's birthday is the birthday of Queen Liz. R.I.P. God bless her. Twitch star, YouTube star. Oh, it is Joey Lawrence's 49th birthday. For those of you who watched Blossom, Joey Lawrence was Blossom's older brother. Will would like us all to know, it is the 250th anniversary of the battles of Lexington and Concord. I'm just feeling my tea is a little bit weak. So, yeah, I'm going to pour some more tea. But I need to use my other phone, which I've been using. I'm going to have to disconnect it, unfortunately, and use it to keep an eye on comments as we go over to play our game together. So, yeah, I keep saying to myself, Mira, buy a ring light. Mira, buy a proper camera. And one day it will happen. I will make it so. It's difficult because if you're saving up for a Titan. Oh gosh, there are 15 in the live chat today. I suspect that's because it's Easter, but also because anyone who came here hoping to watch Fighting Fantasy has just watched a random woman with some tea in a teapot. So make of that what you will. We are a select crew here this evening. John Elliott Gardner, English conductor, born in Frontmell Magna, Dorset, was born today. Cheers to John and Joey Lawrence and all those TikTok stars. Happy birthday. Okay, wow, so weird to get used to drinking tea out of the pot. I swear it tastes different. Okay, and I have got another awful company. Cadbury, I don't think is that ethical, but I love Dime bars, so I got my Easter eggs to myself because I'm too old now. They don't like it when you're nearly 50 and you go on the local Easter egg hunt, let me tell you. Look at these cute mini eggs. So did anybody else get Easter eggs? I really hope so. Tastier than it looks. What are we talking about, Tyrone and Lintu? That's a great question. I think we should probably be playing our game. Let's get it started. I'm loading it up in Steam. Let's hope it works. Here we go. The sound of adventure. That music haunts me in my dreams. Oh, humble brag. Ian Livingston said yes to my friend request on Facebook. Yay! And also there's a YouTuber. His real name is Tom Evans. And he added me on Facebook. So I said, hi, Tom. And I think he's a lot like Uncle Jordan Sorcery. He interviews people about Warhammer and stuff as well. So he sent me a Facebook friend request and we became friends. And I said, hi, thanks for friend requesting. And then he said we could do a video together at some point. So that could be fun. And we're just trying to think what kind of video we could do together. What's his name? This is going to annoy me now. Let's see. I'm sure some of you already watch him. Because everybody watches all the YouTubers, don't they? It's always the way. View profile. I'm doing this secretly, so I don't give away any. How am I going to find this? Oh, Neil, thank you so much. You did that sneakily while I'm looking away. Oh my God, finally, Stuart's been given a membership. How long has it been, Stuart? Oh, congratulations. Welcome, welcome. Matt M, Stuart T, Brody, Nem 2712, and Justin Shaulis. Welcome to YouTube Mirror Manga membership. Thank you so much for joining at Space Marine level. Anybody who becomes a Mirror Manga member gets early access to any of my interviews with no ads, and they also get secret special lives, and we're actually reading what are we reading through? Sorry, my mind's completely gone. It's one of those days. The Codex Imperialis. Crikey, this candle is going to burn the house down. Yay! So if you're a YouTube member, you'll get to read through this with me. I'm really shockingly really overworked at present, so we haven't done that last week, but we will do that next week. But welcome, welcome. Please do subscribe if you've been gifted a membership. It only makes sense. Hello, Jen. Lovely to see you. Thank you for the lovely messages, Jen. And hello, Raincoat Bear. I always think you're Raincoat Bear, like Paddington. Warhammer. What's his name? Tom. filmed egg miniatures. Yay, thank you so much, Neil. That's super kind of you. Yes, so filmed egg miniatures made friends with me on Facebook. These are the kind of videos that he has done. So he's interviewed Rick Priestley and Jervis Johnson. I'm actually working on the same team as Jervis is helping out with Trench Crusade. The Perry twins, the making of the Dawn of War. He's spoken to Rick Priestley a few times. And then he's spoken to Trish, Annie and Louise. That's amazing. What a great table interview. And then Paul Dayton on Warhammer art, Alessio Calvatore, Tim Prout, Steve Ananastov, James Hoare. Wow. So lots of really lovely interviews. Oh, and Gav Thorpe, who I'm hoping to talk to about Deliverance Lost. Fingers crossed, praying to the Emperor for that one. Andy Chambers. So lots of lovely, oh, John Blanche. And I think he's also spoken to Thomas about Necromunda. So yeah, lots of really lovely interviews. Oh, so yeah, I mean, what will he and I talk about? I have no idea, but I thought that was really nice of him to reach out and suggest a collab, especially as I'm a littler streamer than they are. Mira gets to be friends with John Jervis and James Workshop. I don't know if friends is how they would describe me, but I get to fangirl at them. How good was James Christmas? I just can't think of an excuse to get him back on, but he was blooming great, wasn't he? So let's get back into our spaceship, everybody. There are 23 people in the chat, which is actually amazing for an Easter weekend. So thank you all so much, everybody. The Ravy lights are for the amazing Neil, who has done my heart's desire, and he's given some memberships to people, which really, really helps. I get regular payouts if I get membership stuff. So yes, everybody become a Space Marine member on Miramanga YouTube, and yeah, all the lovely things will happen, and definitely more cups of tea. Neil says Gav and Andy Chambers have just released a new mini war game. Yes, Nige. I think he did speak to Thomas about more time. Jen, I feel like James Workshop was supposed to be a one-off joke, but it was so popular they just kept it going. Jen, have you watched my interview with James Workshop? He was so good. He was really good. And I asked him to do impressions, which he did. And his orc impression made all the dogs in his neighbourhood start barking. That was quite impressive. Okay, where is our Starship Traveller? Let us resume. Okay, also, the amazing Jordan Sorcery. I don't know if he's streaming today, but he wrote me this lovely email going, hey, I didn't realise we were streaming at the same time. I'm going to try and start a bit earlier, and I'll definitely tell people at the end that you're streaming too. He doesn't have to do that. You know, I basically told Jordan Sorcery that I was going to tell people that he was my uncle, and did he mind me perpetuating the lie? And he kind of said, it's okay. I mean, I hope he doesn't mind, but I really love it that I refer to Jordan Sorcery as Uncle Jordan. He actually has... Yeah, when I met him in real life, I just felt like he's a nice... Yeah, a nice vibe, a nice aura. I'd say his aura to me, not that I see auras, was very, very, you know, pink and orange and golden, you know, and he has that brilliant laugh that he does at the end of many sentences. So, yes to community. Let us be friends. Okay. I met Jordan at Fighting Fantasy Set, and he is lovely. He is. You know, we're so lucky to have these people in our community. It means a lot, the nice things. So you have selected the following crew members to join you. We are on an away mission. The second security guard, medical officer, science officer. You land on the planet and look around. A thunderstorm is raging around you and it's pouring with rain. You're standing on a rocky ground about 100 meters from what appears to be a village of some kind. 3 aliens, presumably villagers, are shuffling around about halfway to the village. But as you appear, they are startled and turn to face you. They are strange podgy creatures with long necks and stumpy legs. One of the aliens turns and waddles off, back to the village at what must be a running pace. The other two are advancing towards you with weapons, long pointed sticks drawn. So this tells me they are not a sophisticated species, and we've probably broken the prime directive by letting them see us. Oh Lord, this is terrible. We've broken the law. Will you wait for them to arrive, walk towards them to meet them halfway, or make a dash for the village? So please put wait, walk, or dash into the chat. If you're new to the chat and you're new to the channel, you will take 20 minutes until you can kind of comment and join in the chat. It's a security measure because I'm a scaredy cat. But yeah, if you'd like to join in, please do. Jen says, Jervis told one of my favourite Game Workshop behind the scenes stories ever. He suggested Blood Bowl as a game for the company to make, and his boss said, great, when can you start? Not what he expected. Oh, I love it. I love it when businesses are like that. Tony says, yay, good old security guard. Will says, Blood Bowl is legitimately the only sport I understand. Yeah, I don't even understand that one. You must understand 10-pin lane bowling. No, the score system's a bit weird on that. You must understand. I'm trying to think of a really simple game. A really simple sport. Definitely not cricket. You must be able to understand the pole vault, Will. Darts, says Tony. Darts, but it helps if you know maths. Jen, I was going to say darts, but even that's not true. It isn't, is it? There's all kinds of rules. Does anybody play darts? Anybody up for a match on the oche? It looks like everybody would like to wait. Thank you so much, Philip, Nige, Tony, and Will and Gary for voting. Will says, yes, darts has a weird scoring system. It looks like we've bookmarked here already, so we will wait for them to arrive. Through your translator, you talk to them explaining your mission. They are suspicious and hold you at bay with their weapons, but agree to take you to the village elder to talk. This seems great so far. Oh no, what's that image? As you enter the village area, other aliens shuffle towards you inquisitively. You march to a large hut in the centre of the clearing to meet the village elder. You enter his hut and see a large, somewhat wrinkled alien squatting in a far corner. Ooh, that's very Brando in Apocalypse Now. After you've exchanged introductions, you begin to question him. Will we ask him about the planet and its inhabitants? Or do you believe this primitive race can be of little help in your mission, but ask anyway about their knowledge of astronomy? Okay, there's just two choices. So do we ask him about the planet or the mission? So please type mission or planet. Planet is for asking about the planet and who lives there, and mission is to try and get home. PC says planet. 26 people here on an Easter weekend. This is amazing, people. Thank all of those who stayed to watch me make tea. Yay! Thank you so much. If you're new here, please, please, please do a like and a subscribe. If you like now, apparently it helps the algorithm. Nige says, mission impossible. Planet, 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 planet. Tony says, planet, please, because Tony's so polite. Tony and Mark are always very, very polite in the chat. Talking of mission impossible, Nige, who's excited about Mission Impossible, the final mission? I'm so excited. I'm going to potentially travel to either Hastings or Dorset or Maidenhead to try and watch it with 3 of my best friends, because I've just loved Ethan in the Mission Impossible movies for so long, and it looks like this new movie there's going to be a bit of a clip show, flashbacks to all the other Mission Impossible movies, so I'm so excited. I'm also going to try and put peer pressure on my friend whose actual job is to review movies to get us into any special screenings, but I fear because she knows my personality and doesn't want to lose her press pass, she may not take me. But yeah, anyone with any hookups for the Mission Impossible premiere, we want to go. Oh, look who's here. Hello, stranger, Dom Elf Kicker. Dom has returned, everybody. We are in space this time, Dom. Okay, let's look at the votes. For planet, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the mission, we have 1, 2. So it looks like it's going to be the planet. The OG, original gangster Mission Impossible TV series was amazing. Who was in that? I remember the original series, but I can't remember the name of the main actor. Dom in space. Yes, you're going to have to be Dom Eldar Kicker now, or Space Elves Kicker. I am just going to be impressed if Mission Impossible 9 is actually the finish. Looking at you, Jurassic franchise, doing a final film, then announcing another one. I don't know, Tom Cruise is getting on a bit now. He can't go around hanging off aircraft forever. Also, I feel a bit sick supporting him because he's a bit of a scary character at the same time. That's something I need to address with my therapist. Peter Graves, yes. TV's Peter Graves in later seasons. David McCallum, yes, with his blonde Barnet. I am Dom Vulcan Puncher. You want to be careful because Vulcans have got a death pinch. Peter Graves, Leonard Nimoy, Martin Landau. Oof. They don't make them like they used to. Okay, so we're going to ask this alien about the planet and its inhabitants. Barbara Bain too. The alien is quite a talkative creature and tells you that you are on the planet Klibber. On the surface of the planet there are many villages of similar creatures. Their stage of cultural development seems to approximate that of the Middle Ages on Earth. We have definitely broken the Prime Directive. They are an agricultural race. The weather on the planet used to be excellent, but bad weather has ruined their crops for several seasons. The weather is controlled by someone they refer to as the Rain Lord, who lives in a fortified castle 2 hours' journey from their village. The Rain Lord is, they believe, punishing them with this bad weather. As the crops have been failing, the village has been hit by famine and disease. If you have your medical officer with you, which we do, we may offer to see what can be done for the sick. We may ask them whether they have any knowledge of astronomy, or we may offer to try and contact the Rain Lord. What will we do? Chat, you tell me. Either MO for medical officer, stars for astronomy, or Rain Lord, because that just sounds cool and I'd like to see that typed out. I made myself laugh and then I made myself choke. Raincoast Bear said, that's an assault phaser from STV. Star Trek 5. Suddenly, I'm imagining the Rain Lord as a particularly naughty friend of the Doctor. Medical officer say Raincoast and Nige. Gary says, medical officer, wait, is there a Prime Directive at play here? Not in the rules of the game. Oh, Historica Jamaldus! Yay! Is taking medical officer our usual MO? Sometimes, Jim. Also, huge shout out and thanks to Nige and Historica Jamaldus, who have helped me with notes for Double Eagle, which I'm in charge of for Arbeiter Ian's Precinct House book club, which we're filming next Friday. What a disaster. I feel any of Ian's book clubs where I lead are worse, but with the help of Jim and Nige, it may well be bearable. Why are we talking about Buffy? What did I miss? Oh. Martin Landau is Drusilla the vampire's dad. Not in Buffy in real life. Sometimes Nepo babies are okay. I mean, let's talk about Nepo babies. Sorry, big sip. Also, I'm going to have to lick my fingers because I've got chocolate on them. Sorry, I know that's gross. It really upsets people who are like noisy when they're eating. But Let's go see Rain Man, says Tony. So Nepo babies are like, say your parents are both actors and they're touring, they're in theatres all the time, they're backstage at the BBC Centre or on movie sets, and you grow up around those sets. Ergo, sum ergo, quid pro quo, procul harum, you know, carpe, carpe canum, etc. You're gonna feel like you see what mum and dad do and then you do that. If your mum and dad run a garage and mum and dad can fix cars, motorbikes, bikes, you might play in the garage and learn how to do that and get really good at that. My dad was a systems analyst, a computer programmer. He used to be in the days before programmers were called developers. And my little brother played with computers that he brought home and learned to program and became a computer analyst. No, I don't. I think actually my brother sets up networks, and I don't know what my brother does. My brother works in IT. So I guess we can't really be mad at Nepo babies because monkey see, monkey do, right? You learn what you know. And I think it's just because if you are born into a Hollywood acting family, like that's immediately privilege, prestige, fame. But similarly, if my dad was a plumber, Paul the plumber, and maybe I'd gone out with him to the house visits and various, you know, well inspections that we had to do, they'd be like, oh, she's had experience in this, so yeah, let's give her the work. Or maybe my dad's friends had given him a good price on pipes and plungers. This is my favourite ever tangent I've ever gone on. That's how I feel about Nepo babies. Let them get on with it. What kind of aliens are we up against? I'm a legal alien. Are there Englishmen in New York? Asked Dom. Muppet babies are Nepo babies. What are Primarchs if not Nepo babies? Maybe that's why the Warp are so upset with them. Nepo babies can come good, or they can be Donald Trump Jr. I mean, oh, well, that's the other thing. If you grow up and your parents are evil, I mean, hypothetically, if you have evil parents and they're happy to swindle and do bad things to people and it makes them happy, you might learn being evil is what makes me happy. It's hard. What's that poem? They F you up, your mum and dad. Not politician reprobates, though, says Jim. Pedro says, depends on if Nepo babies are good at their job or not. Yes, Pedro, great point. Because if I was a plumber and I was a shit plumber, sorry, did I swear? If I was a terrible plumber and then they were like, oh, it's Paul's daughter, we've got to let her just do that. Yeah, it wouldn't be fair. Dom says, Jaden Smith, I rest my case. Jim says, an evil petting zoo. Neil, my father was a long distance driver and I can't drive. Wow, Neil, that's incredibly interesting. Long distance Clara. Who remembers Pigeon Street? Nepo babies auto-corrected to retrobates. How funny. Not politician Nepo babies. Yeah, look at George Bush. Greg Morris was Barney, yes. Greg Morris was Barney. I've missed something in the chat. Okay, what are we doing? It looks like we're going to do medical officer. Really, most plumbers are. Pigeon Street was great, as was King Rollo. King Rollo! I've forgotten that. And Bod. Let's see what the medical officer says. Your medical officer is taken to some of the huts to see whether anything can be done. And I think we need a number lower than the skill score. Yay! We've passed it. Conditions are very primitive. Your medical officer notices that many of the aliens have a fever and tries a drug. That's a bit risky, isn't it? Which appears to bring their fever down. The aliens are grateful for your help. Yay! Oh. Oh no. With a turn of the page! Our luck has changed. Your medical officer returns and complains of feeling unwell. Test your luck. Lower, lower. You are lucky. Excellent. Sugar, I didn't even think about that. The feeling soon passes and your medical officer recovers after a brief rest. You decide what to do next. Wow, I'm going to save here because 100% the other option would have been your medical officer dies. 100%. If you lived on Pigeon Street, these are the people you could meet. These are the people who would say hello, goodbye, hello, goodbye every day. Gosh, I better stop because I don't want to get done for copyright infringement. But yes, Pigeon Street. If you live... Oh, was it the place where wings beat beat? Maybe there's 2 verses. Thank you, Dom. Heal thyself, physician, says Tony. My dad was a teacher. There's not enough gold in Fort Knox for me to teach in schools. Quite right, too. Heal thyself, physician, says Tony. We can't kill Dr. McCoy. Who else will make I'm a doctor, not a jokes? Facts, Jen. Absolute facts. You may now either return to the ship to continue your voyage, or you may offer to contact the Rain Lords to see if you can help them with their weather problem. We've lost the option to ask them about astrology. So what will we do here? Will we return or will we contact? Please type either return or contact into the chat and that will tell us what we're going to do. I'm a doctor, damn it, not a corpse. Ugh, thump, says Raincoast Bear. Nige says, love Jamie and the magic torch. Jamie and the magic torch. Isn't there someone famous who wrote that? I might be making that up. Contact, return, first contact. Chorlton and the Wheelies. I'm not too remembering of that one. Contact, says Will excitedly. And Tony says contact. And Raincoast Bear says contact. With only Gary wishing us to return to the ship. And Chuoni Lintu saying to contact. Let's do that. But let's bookmark. Following their directions, you head towards the hills to visit the Rain Lord's castle. After some 15 minutes walk, you see a large building in the distance, and it takes you another 15 minutes to reach it. Evidently, a walk which takes you half an hour would take the aliens much longer at their sluggish pace. You reach the gate and can see an armed guard bearing the way. Will you draw your phasers and shoot at the guard, or will we continue up the gate to talk to the guard? Shoot or talk? That's the that is the choice. Oh my gosh, is that like a rainbow goat emoji, Raincoast Bear? That's so cute. Jen says, apparently when Leonard Nimoy saw Carl Urban on the Star Trek set for the first time, he looked so like DeForest Kerry, it brought a tear to his eyes. I mean, I would just cry all the time being on a set where I've lost colleagues. The Riddler's theme tune was the best. I can't remember that either. Will says talk and Jim says purge the Xenos. Wow, going full Imperium on us tonight, Jim. What happened? Did you not get any Easter eggs? Aleph has broken the tie and says talk. So, let's try. Talk, says Nige. Let's see what happens. I'll do a bookmark. The guard sees you and flurries into action. Raising its head in the air, it lets out a shrill whistle. Seconds later, you look up to see that you are surrounded by alien guards, all with weapons pointed at you. You decide it best to surrender to them. Okay. You are escorted into the castle towards a central keep, apparently the nerve centre of the castle. You explain that you wish to meet the Rain Lord. One of your guards goes off to the keep and comes back some moments later. Another group of guards comes over to take you inside the keep. There are a lot of guards here. Oh! Look at this Illo. Well, he doesn't look happy, but he's got space charts. As you enter, your eyes widen. You are not in the Great Hall or perhaps stateroom you'd been expecting, but in a large computer complex. The walls are lined with sophisticated control panels covered in gauges, dials, and indicator lights. In the centre of the room, behind a large screen flanked with a number of keyboards, sits a human figure. As you approach, this figure turns around on his chair. Aha! Our intruders! Ha ha ha! Chuckles the small man, sitting at the controls. Perhaps they may be able to help with our little problem. The man calls himself Brancel. You introduce yourselves and tell him your story. I may be able to help, says Brancel, if you are able to help me first. He goes on to explain that many years ago he was an interstellar trader carrying a cargo of sophisticated planet control computers to Gleaner 3 in another sector of the galaxy. His warp drive failed and he was forced into orbit around this planet. He was able to contact Gleaner 3 to explain the delay, but they would take no excuses and cancel the order. Woof! Thus he was left with cargo and no buyer. Facing financial ruin if he returned home, he decided to settle on the planet. Through his advanced knowledge, he was quickly hailed as a sort of god by the inhabitants, who built him a castle in which he could set up his planet control equipment. Since then, he has indeed acted as a god, and by his own account, a benevolent one at that. However, some time ago he discovered a malfunction in the weather planning system, which meant that he had no longer control over the weather. As the climate was normally very damp, the years of fine weather he had provided for the benefit of the inhabitants' crops had resulted in huge reserves of rain being stored in the planet's clouds. As soon as control was lost, a torrential downpour started. If you have knowledge of planet control systems and can help me get back control of the weather, I'm sure the computer's knowledge of astronomy will be able to help you get back to your own universe, promises the little man. Your science officer would be really useful in this situation. Yay! All these signs are pointing to the fact that this is going to be another really harsh fighting fantasy game, and if we don't have the right officer, we'll lose a vital clue, get to endgame, and die. So, praise the Emperor that we have got a science officer. Let's see what happens. Throw 2 dice. We need a low roll. That'll be fine. Skill check has been passed. Your science officer takes a dump of the weather control program back to the ship to try and analyse it on the ship's computer. It's been written in a strange language, but the computer is able to give some insight into its logic patterns. Your officer alters it slightly and runs the modified program. Within a few moments, the rain dies down. Brancel is delighted and offers to use his computer to search for a suitable black hole to transport you back to your own universe. The computer locates several such black holes. Unfortunately, it cannot distinguish between them, but it's able to tell you that you will have to travel towards it at warp speed 3 to effect the transfer successfully. You thank Brancel for his help and beam back aboard the ship. You leave orbit and probe with your scanners for likely destinations. Some 3.3 light years away, is that how we break light years down, is a large red planet which you can head towards. It's interesting, isn't it, how some distances have like feet and inches, meters and centimeters, and light years you just have 1 and then a decimal point. Oh, the chat's been lively. This guy sounds like Rick Sanchez. Ask him if he has a Morty. Tony, not sure you can bank rain, only guessing. Jim, your science officer takes a dump? Will says, yeah, that would be the wrong way to do that, Tony. Jen says, thank goodness we brought the weather control expert with us. It would be a tad awkward if we brought one of those scientists who knows nothing about the weather. Gary says, he seems like he might be a slightly more tech-savvy Harry Mudd. Harry Mudd! Tribbles! Windows, says Tony. No, thank you. I'm a Mac girl. Jim, 3 is in the warp speed number, and the number shall be 3.5 is right out. Jim, then proceed to 2, but only if thou then proceed to 3? One could also use light days, minutes, seconds. I didn't understand any of the last 3 comments. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people. You switch to warp drive and head towards the red planet. As you reduce from warp speed, you approach a small grey planet. Will we investigate this, or will we continue towards your original destination? So I think we'll decide this one, either type red or grey into the chat, and we'll do that. Oh, okay. You're talking about swallows, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Got it. Gary says red. Red planet. Actually, I watched Total Recall last night, which was an utter joy. Quaid! Quaid, start the reactor. Beige, says Raincoast Bear. Aren't you silly? The holy hand grenade of Antioch. We were having a chat in the Trench Crusade Slack today about how everyone has gone completely off about Trench Crusade space mission. And I just was like, yeah, I can imagine one of the artillery witches like in a shuttle selfie with a daisy. Red says Will. Philip says grey. Tony says beige. The planet of retirement? Oh, come on. Retirement's not beige, surely. It's green from all the gardening. Total Recall is phenomenal. I love Paul van der Hoeven's 90s trilogy of sci-fi movies. Maybe we'll do a members-only Netflix watch-along one evening. That'll be fun. Okay. It looks like we're going red. The only person to say grey was Paul Philip Collins. Nige says red couldn't possibly be dangerous. Let's bookmark here. It's a shame I can't type on there, grey planet. Let's go to our original destination. You set the ship in orbit around the large red planet. Your scanners indicate an intelligent, dominant species on the planet, and you try to communicate with them. After some time, you establish radio contact with a being who identifies himself as Commander Dom, head of the Space Navy, on the planet Darville. Guys, none of this is sounding good. Red planet, Commander Dom, double M, not related to Dom Vulcan Kicker, on the planet Darville. His image flicks up on the screen. He is humanoid, the new drink. He's humanoid in shape, although somewhat grotesque by Earth standards. You estimate his height at over 2 meters, and his craggy face gives you the impression that this race is somewhat aggressive. Oh, okay, this is Klingons. Nevertheless, he invites you and 2 other crew members down to meet him. Are we going down on the planet? So, if we're going to visit the planet, type visit. If we're going to leave, type leave. Planet Darville. Possibly named for Peter Darville Evans, fighting fantasy illustrator. I love that you know that, Neil. Is Total Recall the one where they pressurize Mars in under a minute? Yes. But it was alien tech. Let's hope there are no elves on Darville. Yes, let's hope so. I was going to see if this tea is remaining hot. Oh, it's looking really strong now. Visit, says Will and Tuonalintu. Oof, that's a bad idea to drink that strong before bed. Press onward, says Philip. Klingons on the starboard bow, says Tony. Visit, says Will. Visit, says Nige. Philip and Gary want to leave. Actually, he is related, says Dom. He's my ex-wife's best friend, Goldfish's former owner. Jen needs some space halflings. Tony says onwards as well. Will says bring security officer number 2. I don't think we can. I think it looks like the vote is saying we need to leave. I've got 1, 2, 3 people saying leave and only 2 people saying visit. There are only 19 people watching the chat, so I'm going to bookmark here. This is going to be so much fun when we get to endgame and we've missed something. We have to go back through all the bookmarks to try and figure it out. Let's go. You leave orbit and increase speed. Will we head for the large grey planet now, or will we search for an alternative destination? So if we'd like to go to the grey planet, again, please, you have the option of typing grey in the chat, or will you search for an alternate destination, please type search. So either grey or search in the chat. Thank you. Jen, actually, I realised rattlings in 40k are basically space halflings. Okay, so we're doing grey or search now. Neil says, anyone watching WrestleMania later? What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. 6 people are saying grey. There's only 22 of us in the chat. Let's do it. Let's do it, folks. Sensors indicate that we are travelling past a large spaceport, some distance to starboard. I did click the right thing, didn't I? That seems... Okay, yeah. Sensors indicate that you are travelling past a large spaceport some distance to starboard. If your ship is damaged, you may wish to dock for repairs. Otherwise, you may continue onwards. I don't think we're damaged. Does anybody wish to dock? If they want to, please type dock into the chat. Otherwise, type onwards. The final paragraph will be, sorry player, you forgot to pick up the small dagger of +10 quantumness. We can't let you leave. Facts, Jen. Aleph says dock. Aleph, it's so strange seeing your name in grey because you were a member for so long. I'm so sorry you were a little grey. Perhaps someone will buy you a Mirror Manga membership, which would be great because we're reading the Codex Imperialis together. Or you could buy yourself a YouTube Mirror Manga membership. Was that smooth, everybody watching? I think not. Dock and pick up some tribbles, says Neil. That is so appealing to me. So 1, 2, 3 are saying dock. I think Raincoast might be saying dock, but being funny and saying dog. So it looks like we're going to be docking. 1, 2, 3 say onwards, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 for docking. If we can find some tribbles here, I'll be so happy. I'll bookmark just in case. Oh, as you approach the spaceport, you receive a confused message warning you not to dock. You try again to contact the spaceport, but receive no reply. Oof. Okay, so will you risk continuing with your plan, or will you turn away, and resume your previous course? Will you risk continuing your plan? So please type either risk or turn. Risk means we're going to do it. Turn means we're leaving. Oh, congratulations, Raincoast Bear! My little ad, my subliminal advertising has worked. And thank you. We have a new Mirror Manga YouTube member. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gosh, my mentor will be so happy with me because one of my mentors is like, you need to mention every 15 minutes, like, subscribe, membership. And every 15 minutes, I'm like, cringe, I'm scared, cringe, I can't do it, cringe, I'm never going to do it. So yay. So Gary says turn away. Raincoast Bear, who's newly green. Will says risk. Nige says risk. Tony says right turn, Clyde. Tony also says there'll be trouble if we find tribbles. David Gibbs says turn the ship around, heading back to Bespin. Raincoast Bear says I was a member. Good. Amazing. But now you're newly membered. Must have lapsed. Yes, it does lapse. Thank you for membering again. That's really kind of you. Super kind of you. We appreciate. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 people are saying turn away. 1, 2, 3 are saying risk. And Jen is saying, yeah, let's dock, but after attaching every bookmark possible. So let's do this in case we blow up. Okay. And I think that might be a good time to cliffhanger. Ah! Will we explode or will we prevail? We have to remember that we made this decision to risk everything. So yeah, good for us. Good for us, everybody. I think we did really well. We saved a whole species. We didn't lose any crew members. We haven't taken any damage on our ship. Does it feel to anyone else like things may be going a little too well? We've not died in this adventure yet. I know, Neil. How scary. Is it making anyone else feel incredibly nervous? While we're all here, I am in the last moments of Deliverance Lost. I really like Korax. I really like the sound of the Raven Guard. And I'm beginning to hate the Alpha Legion. Something bad has happened. I don't want to do a spoiler, but the Emperor is trying to help the Raven Guards boost their numbers because they were slaughtered at Isfahan 5. And the Emperor has given Korax a huge secret, which is the gene seed secret to make Primarchs. No, not Primarchs, sorry. Space Marines. And Raven Guard are like, oh my goodness, we have all these loyal little Raven Guardlets from this planet that we liberated. And let's reboost our army. And yeah, if you put aside the fact that all these poor little kiddies now becoming space soldiers, I was like, oh yay, this is good. And the Emperor trusts one of his sons enough. And we learned so many secrets that we've just been wondering about for the whole past 16 books. And there's a little horrible Alpha Legion who says his name's Alfarius, we know it's not, who has been given by a Magun a warp flaw, and they put that in the Raven Guard genetic milkshake centrifuge. And I now have the foreshadowing. Firstly, the book is called Deliverance Lost. Say no more. It's not my first rodeo in the heresy. And I'm just feeling, the Raven Guard have been through enough. They're all still in stages of grief. They've got this little young unit called the Raptors who are barely out of childhood, who are about to sacrifice themselves. 40 died fighting word bearers because they haven't been battle hardened and they're not super mature. And I know from somewhere, but I don't think I should know, but I found out through talking to Jim or Ian, somebody, that the Raven Guard have they're going to get a flaw, much as Thousand Sons have a flaw that they're all dust. They're going to be cursed with some kind of genetic affliction. And I'm ready for the information. I'm ready to understand how the Emperor made the Primarchs and shared the genes. But give us all that information and then make it grimdark AF. If this is how, it's going to be how. This is probably how the Raven Guard get a fatal flaw that I suspect. So, also, I'd forgotten this. Ian and I have promised each other that we'll dress as emos for when we do our book review of Deliverance Lost. What the hell am I going to wear? So, any suggestions or Amazon costume links to emo? I think probably I need to have a fringe, like an emo fringe, and then sorry, my hair's particularly sticky. I've used some I put some hair product in and then forgot to style it, and that's what happens. But crikey, look how grey I am. That's okay, we're embracing the grey. Anyway, I'm not in a good place with Deliverance Lost. I'm also still waiting to hear back about whether I can interview Gav Thorpe. I've heard along the grapevine that he's feeling positive and would like to do it. Let us pray to the Emperor that he can do it. Okay. So Jim, why I love, as you all know, Historita Gemaldus is one of my mentors and helps me. He sends us boxes, he has wisdom, he's book club, he's been a supporter from day one. But he loves Alpha Legion, and I'm finding out I understand why Alpha Legion are supporting the Cabal. They believe the Cabal is saying, but they are bastards. I know everyone is a bastard, but like the Raven Guards don't stand a chance. Like they're so sneakifarious, and it's just not fair because, you know, just think of these poor legions. They've been picked on enough. Why wouldn't I feel cross that they've decided to? Maybe this is just why it's a grimdark, because they're going to beat on the ones that are already beaten up. Anyway, following this and my Nepo Baby rant, I've been invited to talk at a Warhammer academic conference in Germany in September. And I'm going to try and do a talk on literary intertextuality in Warhammer or something. But when I talk about it, I talk at this very base level where I'm reducing Warhammer to EastEnders. So help me God. If anyone would like to help me write an academic presentation for a Warhammer kind of conference, let me know. Let me know. Okay. Where are we at in the chat? No, Khan, says Raincoast Bear, who's looking fantastic in his new green raincoat. Jen, will we be Star Trek and discover Brent Spiner playing Data's dad's third cousin's girlfriend, Dogseer? Are you talking about lore? Will says, we did get that one alien killed. Oh God, we did. But that was the last session, Will. Come on, this session, we've done well. The operative word being yet, says Tuenin Lintu. Absolutely, very wise. No hotkeys or knifey. That is good, isn't it? That is really good. Tony, still no red shots lost. Wow. I feel like if we'd gone to the planet Darville, someone was going to die. Caprice. Hello, Caprice. Emerges from lurking to cheer the beaky Marines. What are you up to, Caprice? Are you socialising or painting? Nige says, Raven Guard are the best legion. I feel like they might be a good legion for sensitive people. I just saw, after I said the EastEnders thing, Jim wrote in the chat, you're not my gene father. Yes, I am. Oh my gosh, I have to play that out with Ian. He'll say no. Alpha Legion sucks, says Will. Caprice says, it is known. Neil says, I am torn because I love the Alpha Legion, but I play Raptors, which are a Raven Guard successor chapter. Please do not tell me that you've just informed me that Raven Guard are going to be wiped out, because the word successor chapter is giving me chills. Oh no. Oof. Okay. It's just tears in the rain. It's tears in the rain. It will never not amuse me, says Jen, that the current boss of the Raven Guard is every 2000s emo band lead singer in Power Armor. Okay. Neil Adams says, Nige, yay, Raptors, you have good taste. Big smile. Tuonin Lintu, Raven Guard are nice legion. The Alpha Legion are annoying in the stories and on the tabletop. They are annoying and I dislike them strongly. Thank you, Tuonin Lintu. We have strong feelings because they're sneaky. And I think when you have an enemy who's so sneaky, it's not fair. Like, it's so hard. How are you ever going to beat them? Neil asks Nige, do you play or collect Space Marines? Will says, also, there are two bald weirdos that look the same, always hanging around in the Trump Oval Office. Coincidence? I think not, Will. Nige says to Neil, I made my own Raven Guard successor chapter called the Dark Envoys. Stop saying successor chapter. I don't like that expression. But I've never played with my Raven Guard successor chapter. That's interesting, Nige. Jim says, cursed with emo-ness already. Jen says, what does Jen say? I've just lost it. The Alpha Legion need to pick a lane and stick to it. What are they doing? Do they know? At least the Dark Angels are always 100% loyal at all times, and no, Supreme Grandmaster Azrael didn't make me say that. Is that another spoiler? Stop spoiling me. The Cure hoodie, says Caprice, lol, with a sticky tongue out. Dom says, turns out it was all Bobby Ewing's dream. Oh my God, Dallas. Now that was a theme song. Loose clothing too. Loose clothing on emos. Okay. Emo, sister of battle. Raincoast Bear says emo or emu. There's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door. Historita Jamaldus. Like bringing, let's be calm, everybody. Alpha Legion are the Mission Impossible Legion, but some are evil. Okay, good to know. Neil says Alpha Legion are basically just a Deus Ex Machina for 30 and 40k. If something needs explaining, just say it was an Alpha Legion plan. that tracks. Jen says, Jim, I'm not imagining Tom Cruise is Alfarius, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think you meant to say, I am imagining Tom Cruise is Alfarius. Not two Tom Cruises. Aztec says, where in Germany? Mark says, you could practice your talk on us. I will. That's a great idea, Mark. Maybe I'll just do a members only one, because then if it's awful, the members can just be kind. Dom says, nobody knows the Alpha Legion's motives, including the Alpha Legion. Aleph, don't feel bad about Space Marines. They're just tools like a screwdriver. Oh, but they're also children who became... It's hard. It's hard to detach emotionally. Flying internet spaceships, says Caprice. Jen says, the Brent Spiner thing was more a jab at the fact Brent Spiner keeps appearing in Star Trek as people semi-related to Data. I know, but I feel like that's the in-joke that they know and that's why they do it. I think it's fantastic. I love it. EastEnders is unknown in Germany. Flippin' heck. I wonder if there's an equivalent in Germany. Every Loyalist Legion has successor chapters. That makes me feel horrible. I know why. No successor chapters are those created after the heresy. The original Legion still exist as chapters as well. Can relax. EastEnders 40, Rogel Dawn. Rogel Dawn, what's going on? The Emperor, who's minding the stool? Dom, I'm cutting and pasting that. I'm going to tweet that. How can I save this from the chat? Copy. I will credit you, Dom, if you put your @ in the chat. What was the other one? The Historitus Jamaldus. That will be lol. Maybe we'll get really popular and go viral with this thread. I'm so sorry that they don't have it in Germany. Basically, it's a very long-running soap opera based in London, in a fictional area of London that is a square of houses, because there are lots of squares. And around, in the middle of the square, there is a pub called the Queen Vic, and there is a market. And there's also a cafe. There used to be a cafe. And over the years, more establishments pop up and down. But largely, the drama revolves around the families and workers who are on Albert Square. And it all started in the 80s with a suspicious death. Someone was found dead. Anyway, I don't really like EastEnders. It is a very grimdark soap opera, so it kind of tracks. Oh, I've just found Jim's comment. You're not my Gene father. Yes, I am. Who would be the Primarch most likely to say that to the Emperor? Who do we think? I'm guessing it would be Angron. Most likely to say, you're not my Gene father. Angron. Or maybe someone could tell me different. Corvus looks like Conan. He's really, really, really muscly. He is steroidal. Tony says, just look at successor chapters of Sons of in a soap opera. Okay, so like Martin Fowler, for instance. Got that. Will, I assume that most Alpha Legion ops end in slapstick, as multiple cells don't realise they're on the same team. That's a great, we could have a Warhammer farce. Dom, does that make the Queen Vic the Golden Throne? David says, was Dirty Den not famous in Germany? David Gibb, are you confusing Dirty Den with David Hasselhoff? Dom says, Neil Adams, yes, that does make the Queen Vic the Golden Throne. and poor Peggy Mitchell has to clean it. Historita Jamalda says, I was born the day EastEnders started, I think. All right. Okay, Gen Z. Raincoast Bear says, East Germany Enders. I love it. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for not spoiling me. Tony, the twins could say that. Lorgar got told off by Dad and went off in a strop to worship chaos. That's pretty much exactly what happened. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining in this evening's stream. We've done really well, I think. We've had 5 memberships given out, and thank you so much, Neil. And Raincoast Bear has also re-subbed or remembered. And thank you so much, Neil, for gifting those memberships. I hope that the people you gifted the memberships are still around and that they had a lovely time. We are a little bit, I think we're a little bit confusing, but we're a lovely bunch, really. Mostly harmless, as it says in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Thank goodness you're here would make for a great stream game and you'd love it. Thank goodness you're here. What is that? Tony says, enjoy the rest of Easter, folks. Jen says, if you want to see the Marine voted most likely to join my chemical romance, look up Chapter Master Cave and Shrike. Thank you, Jen. Historica Jamalda says, thank goodness you're here. Only takes a couple of hours to finish. We'll have a look at that. Tony says, mostly no school tomorrow. I'm going down to see my mama, who has been having a bit of a rough patch at the moment tomorrow. So, yes, please keep me and Mum in your thoughts and prayers if you are of a spiritual nature, or just send us good vibes if you're not. It was so lovely to see everybody. Really great to see Caprice pop out from lurking. Great to see Dom Elfkicker re-enter the chat. And yeah, really grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, be that subscribing, liking, chatting, or membership. I appreciate you all. And yeah, I hope you all have a really lovely break, and I'll see you next Sunday. Take care, everybody. Yay! Awesome goodbye messages, good vibes sent. Thank you, Tony. I feel them. Aztec, thanks, Mira. Thanks, chat. Good vibes, everybody. Yay! Neil, see you all next week. Have a good one. Thank you, Neil. Caprice, thanks for the fun. Be well, all. Thank you, Caprice. Good night, Gary. Thanks for showing. Good night to the cat and the Mrs. Gary. Alex, have a great rest of the weekend, everybody. You too, Alex. Twain into good night. And Nige, thanks, Nige. Have a good night, everybody, too. Okay, see you on next time. Bye. Goodbye, Will. Unicorn, unicorn sombrero, unicorn. Bye.